hey, how are you? Happy Friday. It's Friday. My YouTube faraway friends, how are you? It is the end of the week. It is a crappy week here in New York City. It's a crappy day, should I say, here in New York City. It's been raining. It started very early this morning. It's raining throughout the day. Not a hint of sunshine. It's going to be raining all night and possibly all day tomorrow, which is Saturday. Most likely, I'll probably head out tomorrow, check one more time for the Mickey bag at Primark. What am I going to do? It's become a sick joke now. Just, if I get it, fine. I'm probably not even going to be jumping up and down after I do get it. If I do get it, whatever. Did some things here around the house. Emptied out my shredder. I vacuumed my floor. I cleaned off my dining room table here, which is wonderful. I had to assess some items that I got as gifts, and now they will be repurposed into other forms. Let me do the disclaimer before I mention this. In no way, shape, or form am I sponsored, endorsed, or ambassador by any of the companies or items in which I speak of. I solely speak from the matter of the goodness of my heart. I share them with you, my YouTube community, aka also known as my faraway friends. I am not affiliated. I am not affiliated with any vloggers, any content creators of any kind. If they are my friends, that's fine. If I pass on their information, that's fine. Nobody's looking for anything, folks. I just like to share good things. Okay. Now that I get rid of that, all the gifts that I had gotten, as far as the Slatkin candles are concerned, I have been burning them. They have been wonderful. I have been enjoying them. I always enjoy Slatkin candles. Homeworks candles by the Slatkin Company. And these candles are just starting now to make their way to die out a little bit, but they will now be repurposed because you know what I do with them. I butcher them now when they're down to the end, and I use them as wax melts. So they will be repurposed. So that's what I've been doing. I've been going through the candles, see which one is just good and low enough. This is, okay, you know what? I'm going to take that one now. But some of the glass containers, I will say, the front here comes off. This is a sticker. If you can get that off, you can get that off real easy. And the base on these are wonderful, as you can see. It's one whole base. It's awesome. So these can also be repurposed. These are very heavy glass, by the way. I do have a few of them. I don't think I'm going to keep as many as I thought I was going to. You could put candy in them. You could put flowers in. You could just put things in, knickknacks, whatever you want. Also, the covers are beautiful. Also, they're most like a soft metal. So repurposing, folks, repurposing. Yeah, let's see, what else did I do? I'm still reassessing what I'm going to do with my living room. I see it in my head the way I want it to be, and it's like I just want to wave my hand and go, okay, it's done. And I open my eyes and it's nowhere near done. It's not even started. I will get to it when I get to it. That's the way I feel. What else? The hits just keep on coming with Disney. I'm going to speak about Disney. Let's do this. Let's get into this. The thing is, they took away Tinkerbell. They took away the meet and greets with Tinkerbell. I'm sure you guys know that by now at Disney World. I'm sure at Disneyland as well. I mean, I can't speak for Disneyland. I only could deal with Disney World. And with Disney World, she has not come out and hung out and did meet and greets since before the pandemic anyway. You think she would have popped up by now. You think Disney would have put her back out. Unfortunately, there seems to be an issue. I don't know who shot their mouth off this time, but I think it's just a bunch of troublemakers. I really do. But of course, Disney is most likely going to be cautious, and they're stepping on eggshells right now around themselves. Somebody complains about something, somebody doesn't like something, that's it, it gets stopped. I mean, it's like ridiculous not even to do the research and not even to have Disney come out as to say why they pulled her out. She was in Town Square Hall, Town Square Hall. I call it Town Hall Square, Town Square Hall, whatever. It's the entranceway when you come into Magic Kingdom. It's right there. As a matter of fact, it's double billed. You also have Magician Mickey there, also doing a meet and greet. Well, now he's there, and it's basically like an empty building now because Tinkerbell's not there. They literally took the sign down. It's just, You know what it is when they do something like that? They're making something just disappear. That's it. They just get rid of it. They just make it disappear. The only time you're going to see Tinkerbell is in the parade. And when she's making the entranceway off, you know, flying off the castle, making, you know, flying across the Magic Kingdom to start the fireworks celebration. It's the only 2 times you're going to see her. I think that totally sucks. So, for the ones who shot their mouths off, I had to look up what the word exactly meant. And they threw the word out in an article calling it problematic. Her character is problematic. Alexa, give me the definition to the word problematic.
The word problematic is used to describe something that is uncertain, doubtful, or questionable. It implies that there is a problem that needs to be addressed or resolved. The term is often used in discussions to signal that an issue is complex or has multiple perspectives.
I said, like, really? That's a hell of a definition for one word. But the idea is, why do they find it problematic? What is the reason of throwing the word problematic out? I want to get deeper into this. I'll probably find out a little bit more as I go along. I pay attention to stories. I pay attention to reads. Who actually originally threw this out was WDW Pro. And it was a shock. It really was a shock. I read something about it, but sometimes certain articles come out from certain people that I do not read. I find them as clickbait. It's very annoying, you know. You'll find websites, and I'm going to mention them. Inside the Magic absolutely sucks. Disney trips, they suck. Diz Dining is starting to really annoy me, as a matter of fact. They totally suck. And I only stick with actual news casting YouTube channels that are absolutely wonderful. I swear by them. WDW Pro is wonderful. Valiant Renegade is awesome. They also intertwine with each other. They are part of each other's shows. They are guests on each other's shows, and they get together, and they are very informative, and I absolutely swear by them. I really do. They have not steered me wrong at all since I've been listening to them. So with that word, with the Tinkerbell, it was also mentioned that little girls, it's sort of like a body shaming. Come on. You know, body shaming. First of all, she's been that way for years. How come body shaming wasn't upsetting 5 years ago? Why is it upsetting now? Because one person come out and say, oh, you know what, they're body shaming. So now everybody else hops on that train and goes along with it. This is really annoying. You now started on something who I absolutely loved as a character. I still love her. She is part of my childhood. She was actually part of my imagination. She just, you know, I mean, she's a character. She's not a real person. But for a child, it's absolutely wonderful to meet your hero, to meet your idol. And I'm sure a lot of other little girls would be very upset. And the word body shaming has nothing to do with it. They just want to meet Tinkerbell. The first thing I would say of Tinkerbell, if I was I met her once. I did. I had the pleasure of meeting her once. She looked at my tattoo. I have pictures of her, the PhotoPass pictures of her admiring and asking questions about my tattoo. Because my tattoo, as you know, involves her. Okay? There she is. This was my very first tattoo ever for my 40th birthday. 2 years later, I had my Tinkerella name tattooed underneath. Okay, she is with me. She will always be with me. Unfortunately, she's not in the parks, but at least to know that I have some connectivity to her, something at some point. Little girls go to meet her. The probably thing would be is, why is she so big? I thought she was a little fairy. That's what I would come up with. Not, Well, gee, she looks so skinny, and she's dressed so skimpy and so hot. No, she isn't. She's in a costume, for God's sake. She's not even real. What is wrong with you? Have you seen what was on the friggin' internet lately? Have you seen what TikTok videos are out there and people are posting? Half of those people are naked. You're worried about a character? Oh, come on. You people are insane. I don't know. And I'm going to tell you something. I got to tread on this very lightly, because when I come out and say it, I don't sugarcoat. So I'm going to try and use my words. But you know what? You're going to get my point anyway, because at some point it's just going to have to come out. I'm not into holding that back. Who started this mess? Who started this crap? I didn't hear nothing about this 5 years ago. I didn't hear nothing about any of these things since before the pandemic. I heard nothing beyond that. It was only started when everybody started to come back after the pandemic. Then all of a sudden, everybody must have opened their eyes to something. No, you know what? To me, there seems to be a bunch of troublemakers that have nothing else better to do with themselves. I'm going to like who I like. I'm going to want to see who I want to see. If I don't see who I want to see, I'm going to steer away. That's going to be it. It's ridiculous. Totally ridiculous. Now, swinging away from that, let's swing over to something else. Okay? Now, a family. A family, I think they have 2 or 3 kids. I think they have 2 kids. Could have 3, but I don't. It doesn't matter. A family with kids went to Wilderness Lodge, and they went to have dinner at the Storybook Dining. The Storybook Dining is a character dining experience, and it's great. I wish I knew about it, because I'll be honest with you, I didn't even think that they had that. That's a possibility. I would really like to get involved in this. I didn't know if Wilderness Lodge actually had a character dining, because I only see beyond past a certain amount of stuff in Disney. Again, I see what I want to see. I do what I want to do. But I didn't know that they had character dining, Storybook Dining. So their characters involve Snow White, 7 Dwarfs, and Evil Queen. I think that's great. I never met the Evil Queen. I never did. I met Maleficent. She is my rock star. She is also my hero. That's my person right there. Evilness at its finest. And let me go back to that. A few years back, before the pandemic, I had the pleasure of meeting Maleficent one time. It was a true experience for me. My husband was involved in this. It was right after the Halloween party. I want to say 2009. It could even have been 2014, 2014, something like that. I know my mother and father-in-law were with us on that trip. And the ears that I'm wearing in the shot, I gave them to my mother-in-law. I remember this. She loved them so much, I said, here. The thing is that I met Maleficent. I looked at the shot. I can't see the picture right now because it's packed away with all the Halloween stuff. I only bring that out for Halloween. And what I would explain to you is, you see me in that shot. You see my husband had asked, he says, could I be in the photo too? Of course you can. What are you kidding me? Because he knows it's more of my thing. He says, but, I said, yeah, we got one shot to do this. Absolutely. PhotoPass photographer was a wonderful gentleman, older gentleman. He gave the instructions of what to do. He says, listen, park's getting ready to close, not too far away. He says, everybody that's on this line, we were in front of the castle. This was a beautiful backdrop, by the way. This was gorgeous. And we were at the entrance going up the ramp to where the castle. It was really amazing how they did this. We just happened to have landed at the right place at the right time. Photographer says, listen, you get one shot. When I tell you to go up, you're going to go up to her. I'm going to take the picture. You're going to walk back next. That's it, he says. I went, okay. This guy wasn't having it, okay? I'm sure he was there all day. I don't blame them. When it came our time, the people before us, I had my good Nikon camera. And I says, what are the chances? I picked the camera up and I had it because I was getting ready to shoot. The other people walked away and Maleficent and I kind of locked eyes. Now, Maleficent's very tall. I'm getting to this in a minute. You could probably understand what I'm going to say. It's very tall. Before I walked, I cocked the camera up. She knew what I was going to do. She had this wonderful statuesque pose. And she's looking at me. And I took the shot. It's a beautiful shot. As a matter of fact, I posted it a few years ago. I watermarked that because I didn't want anybody taking that shot. That's my shot. Okay, I'm very picky about my pictures. I was just there at that right time. And I started to get misty-eyed. We got up to her, took the picture. It's a great picture. In that picture, you'll see, or you would see, because right now I don't have it on. I don't even have a copy of it around me. That's a shame, but I don't even have it posted anywhere. You see that I am so proud in that shot. You'll literally see, I started to tear, really. As I walked away from her, because I gave her a hug. She let me hug her. Nobody's got a picture of this, however. My husband says, he says, if you gave me the camera, he said I would have had a shot to do it. I says, well, you didn't have the cell phone either. But anyhow, the photographer was not going to take that picture either. So he was just standing. He was, doing the camera. He was getting other people ready. He was pretending that didn't even exist. I gave her a hug. I walked away. Tears were coming down my eyes. That's how good this was. This was my only shot to meet her. I've never seen her again, never met her again. But I'm getting to this because this is going to now intertwine with today's story. And the thing is, I walked away from my husband, and my husband was mad. I started to, he says, you okay? I said, yeah, I'm wiping my eyes. Tears are coming down. It's hot. I want to go home now. That's it. I want to go back to the room. That's it. My night is over. I said, you know what just happened, right? He says, what? I says, well, he says, yeah, you just met your idol. I said, no, that's got nothing to do with it. I says, listen, I'm only going to say this. I says, why do I think that wasn't a female? And my husband goes, I was kind of wondering that same thing. Even the hug. Maleficent don't hug anybody. I got the hug. I don't have it documented. That's what sucks. I says to him, joking, I said, only a male, only a guy, only a dude. I said, only a dude could play the character of Maleficent. I said, he was spot on. I said, you notice I said he was spot on. So my husband started to laugh. He says, hey, it was pretty cool. He says, even you got me excited. He says, I says, but I don't think that was a female. Now, we get to today, 2024. Sure enough, there was a family that went to Fort Wilderness that experienced the storybook dining, character dining. Now, with the character dining, you meet, I told you, Snow White, 7 dwarfs, and you get your picture with Evil Queen. Family, the father started in first, I think. They got up there, they met the Evil Queen. He had his doubts. Came back to the table with his wife, his family. I don't know what he said. I don't know what was said, but the article does say that he called the waiter over. The waiter came over. He had the assumption that the Evil Queen was not who the Evil Queen was portrayed by. He, in fact, said the Evil Queen is not a woman. I say only a dude can also play the Evil Queen as well. Let me just get something straight. I'm okay with this. I'm okay with this. I am. If the character is portrayed right, that's fine. The character is really into it. That's great. And I'm okay with it. So this guy with his wife and his kids were very upset. Calls the waiter over. The waiter is now going back and forth with him. This is what the article stated. Finally, at the end, the guy, the father that's, was talking in the article, he says, I felt like I was being like conned in a way. He says, but then he said, he almost kind of made me rethink my thinking on this. He says, but then again, I knew at the end I was being gaslighted. Okay. See, now those highfalutin words, those new term words, doesn't faze me. I say you were BS'd, okay? You were BS'd. Okay, all right, fine. I said to myself, in a way, does it really matter? Don't you think that you were making a bigger deal out of this? There's probably a reason for this, because everybody seems to be making a big deal out of everything nowadays. Everybody seems to be, when they don't like something, they fight about it, but also they make a point about it because they have to put it out on social media. I say if you're a little bit more discreet about it, this would have never wound up as internet news. You could have did it with more class. Why did you have to put it out on the internet? Because then the attention, you won't get the attention then. So did this person do this to seek attention? This seemed to be such a petty thing. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Did it really matter? Okay. I'm going to give you the example of Bippity Boppity Boutique with the fairy godmother. Okay, that was a little much. I agree. That was a little much. But again, the person who did that for her daughter posted that on the internet. That was actually a gentleman who was playing the part of a fairy godmother with a full mustache. Okay, that was a little much. I give you that. You have to also understand, if you don't like something, you don't do it again. Leave it in a feedback. Give the, you do, but you don't have to, everybody is involved now of making everything internet worthy. It's ridiculous. You could have did it with a little bit more class. Doesn't have to be put out there. You also have to understand, you got to take it. If you're going to take it as a parent, you're going to have to take it from all ends, because I'm sure there are friends and family that probably don't agree with what this person did in his own family, let's just say. Let's say if he didn't like it, then he goes home and his neighbors seen what he did on the internet, and they're all going to be buzzing and talking about him now. You understand? You just built a reputation for yourself that probably maybe you didn't want, if this makes any sense. These people have lives. He was hired, she or he was hired to do a job. Now, this guy made such a stink that not only the waiter had to get the manager involved. Now the manager comes over. And this gentleman, the family, didn't really get the answers that they wanted from the manager either. So he wants to know, oh, that's really a girl, and that's really, what? Hey, wait a minute, what do you want to see, a birth certificate too? I mean, again, does it really matter? You had an experience. Oh, well, we paid over $300 for this meal. What, do you want your friggin' money back now? Why are you doing this? I say sometimes people do things like this to bring things out just to get the attention. This was a sad case. I don't agree with this one at all. The Bippity Boppity Boutique? Maybe. Again, that should have been done in a little bit better taste as well. Again, that poor person was splattered all over the internet. Does it really, did you really have to go that route? And as a parent today, parents are not discreet with how they talk to their children either. Now, you can easily turn around to me and say, oh, but you have no kids. No, but I was one. And I was talked to discreetly by my own mother and father. I only could experience how I was raised. Okay? And my mother and father were open-minded parents. They appreciated things. They enjoyed their friends in their life. They just enjoyed life as well. Okay? For people who know me, know that. They were very, very kind people to other people. They were very helpful to other people. I always wonder, like in today's world, what my mother and father would have thought about the things that are going on today. I'll never get that answer, but it always makes me wonder in my mind. And I'm grateful for the person who I am because of them. Absolutely, I respect that. I was raised in a different way. I was taught to enjoy things and like things and respect things. And just because somebody didn't look the way I did, or somebody didn't speak the way I did, you don't make fun of anything like that. You don't do that. I was bullied a lot myself, but I wouldn't do that to somebody. I just never did. But getting back to this now, I think the parent took it a little bit too far. Now he's got a storyline, and now it's all over the internet. You have to understand something. The person who's playing the character, you kind of just ruined them as well. Bippity Boppity Boutique, even though the person had a full mustache playing a fairy godmother, that person's life was still ruined also, because I didn't hear nothing about that news until that woman posted her daughter going to the Bippity Boppity Boutique and getting that person as a fairy godmother, as a personal shopper. That's what they do. Where is your morals? Where are your morals? I guess the internet is now what makes the world go around. It's sad. So, okay, the evil queen is played by not somebody that you would appreciate. Let's put it that way. You didn't really have to make that much of a stink about it. And then you had to throw in that you spent over $300 for the meal and the experience. You didn't get your experience. That's what he put. We didn't get the experience that we anticipated. Hey, listen. The day doesn't go right for everybody. I don't know why you had to put your kids involved in that as well, but you see, they are with you. Your wife is with you. You know, don't think that they're not going to suffer consequences for this. You got to look at that. You got to look at all angles. It's insane. I say leave it alone. I think the evil queen, in my opinion, did a great job as well. Only, I say, some characters can only be portrayed by the opposite sex. I think the evil queen did great. I think Maleficent, with me, forget it, was awesome. And I'll never forget that. But it just reminded me of that. Now, I mean, like, why is this such a shock now? Don't you realize that maybe these things have been happening for years and nobody even knew about it until now? Maybe these characters were always played by the opposite sex, and now you people are just realizing it? Half the times in the costumes wearing the heads like a Mickey, Minnie, Winnie the Pooh, some of them are mostly portrayed by women because some of them are a shorter height that they can pull that off. It's not probably done by a man as well, okay? You have to understand that. But the tallness, the statuesque, it really brought on the evilness. It really did. I absolutely enjoyed it. I like I said, I enjoyed Maleficent. I really did. And that hug, I will never forget, even though nobody's got it documented. Why? The photographer should have just took the shot. Anyway, yeah. But what are your thoughts on this? And what are your thoughts on the Tinkerbell? I mean, taking her away. It's like, you know, just fly away, Tink, go somewhere else. How horrible can you people be? But yet the Disney company has not come out and commented on anything about either of these two things. I wanted to know what they had to say, really. Or Riga. I wanted to know what he had to say. I mean, it's bad enough the fiscal earnings was a doozy, but anyway. And then all of a sudden, these things happen. So, perfect timing, people. I think parents need to reassess what they do with their kids, really. I mean, just, you know, tone it down a little bit. You don't have to, you know, things could be done more discreet. You didn't have to make a scene in front of those kids either. I mean, it's like, that's not classy. That really is. That's low class. All right. I'm going to get going. I'm going to finish my tea. I'm going to see what other shenanigans that I could do around here. I know I can't do nothing else. Maybe I'll just put on a CD and listen to some music. That's it. All right, everybody. Love to all. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Let me know your views in the comments below. It makes a good conversation, but it's sad. It's just sad. All right, people. Love to all. Have a good day, everybody. Take care. Happy Friday. Be safe out there.